Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome to Hollywood Gatekeepers. I am Carolyn J. Carpenter. I am your host for today. We are going to have some fun today. So, how are you today? I love having these sessions. I love talking about all the things that could be happening for you. I love talking about reading. I love talking about writing. So, if you're new to us, my name is Carolyn J. Carpenter, and I am one of the founders of Hollywood Gatekeepers. And we train people how to become expert readers for the film industry. That's what we do here. That's our whole reason for being, is to come in and train people how to read and analyze screenplays so that we can help writers get their script ready so that they can submit it to producers, contests, judges, whatever, so that that will get up on the screen. That's the goal. We also help producers. We dive in, we read screenplays, we write a thing called coverage, which is kind of like a book report, and that tells that producer if that script is ready to be made into a production. So howdy, I see people showing up. Good to see you here. Feel free to leave comments, ask questions, whatever you would like. Today, we're talking about something that might not seem like it has anything to do with reading, but it has everything to do with reading. And that is your 2023 recap, so that we can start planning into 2024. This is a place where we make plans, where we make our goals happen. If you're here in this group, in our world, watching these videos, that means that you are reaching for something big. You are reaching for the dream that you want to make happen. You are here to do the big things. Hi all, hi all, hi all. Good afternoon. So that's why you're here, and I want to step up and serve you the best that I possibly can. I'm also a certified life coach, and so I went and got the certification. I'm actually working on a second one right now. I wanted to be able to give you as many tools as I can that will help you both, plan your life, have productivity, have the life that you want, so that as you become a reader and you start making movies, writing movies, critiquing movies, however you're going to use this skill, the more that your life can be mapped out and the more that you understand yourself. One of the key things, in my opinion, to writing a good screenplay, to being a good reader, to handling all of it, is that you know yourself, that you're really self-aware. By being self-aware, you can show up in a very different way than someone who's going through life with blinders on. You need to be aware of your biases. You need to be aware of the way that you look at things. That will make you a really good reader when you're so self-aware of what's happening. Not only that, it'll make your life better. You'll have more contentment in your life. You'll have a more even life. So we come in to talk about reading and analyzing screenplays, but screenplays are reflecting life, right? They're all about the human experience and being a human and all of that. So the more that we can understand ourselves as humans, understand ourselves as people, what's happening in our life, the better reader we will be, the better screenplays we will write, the more projects we will get, the just easier it all is. So last week, this is a series that we're doing to close off the end of the year and give you a good jump start into next year. And this is a series that we're doing called Recap and Reinvent. So we're recapping first. We started last week and we started with recapping some things. And now this week, we're going to take the next step. So I'm going to do a kind of quick recap of the recap. So meta. I'm going to do a quick recap of what we talked about last week. And I'll post that video in the comments of this video. It's one of those mirrors where you can see and see. It's one of those. So I'll post that. And then you can look at what the recap is for you for 2023. And then we'll move forward. And next week, we're going to add to it. And there's a handout and everything. So it's just building every week. And then you will have a handout that you can use as you jump into 2024. So last week, we talked about recapping your 2023. And we talked about asking yourself, where were you this time last year? What were you thinking of last year? What were you thinking your year was going to be like? Like really taking a look and recapping very specifically, going in and writing down, your writers, what happened? What happened in January, in February, in March? Like, how was your year? And really taking a look at the year and then comparing it to what you thought it would be, comparing it to the surprises that you had, comparing it to the way you thought it was going to go. And if it didn't go the way that you thought it would, is that good or bad? Did you put some label on it, like it didn't go this way, which means it's a failure? When people say something is a failure, they're basically just saying that it didn't go the way I planned it to go, which is a little bit absurd when you think about it. When something doesn't go the way we planned, it isn't necessarily failing. It's just not going the way we planned. It's going a different way. And maybe if we stop putting these big labels like failure on it, it can go in a direction that's actually better. And if we can embrace the direction that it does go, that can help us move forward in a much faster way, right? Really reaching for the things that we want. So you might hear some little bit of buzzing today. My laptop yesterday just took a dive. Don't know why. So I'm on an old one that has a little bit of a little grind to it. So it's like grinding into the new year. So if you hear that, that's what that is. You're not going crazy. It's actually happening. But I want to like continue to move on and to continue to go from your recap of last year and really taking a look at that, taking a look at where you were, what was going on. And then I'm looking at the handout that I'm going to give you. I'm not going to give it to you today, though. It's like whenever you celebrate, it's like a little present. It's under the tree waiting, or it's like hidden in the closet. You can't quite see it yet. You're going to get it, though. Don't you worry. So as you looked at 2023, and if you didn't do this last week, you can do it this week. I actually recommend that you do this on a regular basis where you recap, relook at things, see how things are lining up for you, see what's happening in your life. I think it's really important that we constantly reflect on what we're seeing, what values we're living, what we're doing every day. That's what will be the thing that will really make big changes. It might not seem like it in the moment, but these incremental changes that we make create huge things in our lives. So now as we look forward and we talk about like, okay, right now we've looked at 2023 perhaps. And if not, you can spend some time doing that today where you just take stock into what happened, who you're with, what was going on. And then what do you need? We ended it last time with what do you need to let go of? What if something or maybe someone that you want to let go of that isn't serving you, a relationship that isn't serving either of you? Is it time to move on from that relationship? Or a situation that just isn't serving you anymore? What can you let go of? And if you let go of that thing, what does it make room for? How much of that thing is occupying your daily thoughts and your life and everything? And once you let that go, what opens up for you if you think about that? So then as we move forward, I'm going to ask you a few questions. I recommend that you go back and you watch this and take it slowly and pause it and write the question and like really use this as a meditation and a way to like really journal and think about what your plans are. The more that you can kind of dig into it, honestly, it might seem like you're taking some time, but it's such valuable time and it will really, skyrocket you into the future. So how grounded do you feel in general? Do you feel pretty grounded? Do you feel pretty like, okay, here's my plan. I'm grounded. I know where I'm going. Here's what I'm going to do. Do you have a plan? Or how open are you? How creative are you? So it goes both ways, right? Some people say, I can't make a plan. It's too limiting. I need to be able to dream. Most writers are big dreamers as well. We have the good fortune to be able to really imagine details of life. We can make things a catastrophe, right? So it could go either way. But really being aware of, are you spending every day rewriting your lists and making a plan and making a plan and making a plan and making a plan, but you're never actually doing it? You're just planning it, and then maybe you'll need to take another course before you can actually do it, or maybe you'll need to, meet with one more person, or maybe you'll need to write that list again, or are you planning? You're never actually doing it, just planning. That is very common, and it can be something where we feel like we're getting something done because we're making a plan, but if you don't actually do the things on your plan, like being really aware of that, right? And on the flip side of that, sometimes that plan can kind of stifle our creativity. Are you super creative and you're just going with the flow? And of course, there's inherent problems with that if you allow it to be, where you're going with the flow, but you're never actually really doing anything. So they go hand in hand, right? Being able to be grounded, to make a plan, to implement that plan, to move forward with it. That's what we want to get a balance of doing. And the way you find that balance is very simple. You just look at what you did yesterday and the day before that and the day before that and the day before that. And you will see patterns. You will see how much planning you're doing and not implementing. You will see how much daydreaming you're doing and not implementing. You'll see how much you're doing all the things for other people and not for yourself, which I say all the time is not a time management issue. What is it? It's a boundary issue. It means you're not making that time for yourself. So how will having a plan serve you? Or how will not having a plan serve you? If you are spending a lot of time planning and not doing, maybe we ditch the plan for a couple of weeks. We just like let it go and stop writing the list and stop making the plan and stop writing the goals and just let it be for a bit. See what happens. See what naturally comes to you. What do you do if you're not following your thing? Being really regimented. And then the other side is true as well. If you are someone that's really not making a plan, you have no idea what you're going to do next week. You have no idea how you're going to make any of this happen. You have no idea how much money's in your bank account. You have no idea where you left your keys. Like, you don't know. You just don't know. You're just not present in your own life. And most of us have a balance of all of it. So just being really aware can be really, really beneficial. So what might get in your way as you make this plan? Some of the things I'm talking about already might be the thing that will get in your way. But what are the circumstances and or people that might be stopping you? And sometimes we have people in our life. And when I started Hollywood Gatekeepers, I can't even tell you. I had so many people tell me, this is silly. What are you doing? No one's going to want to do this. Being online is terrible, blah, 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 blah. All this noise of no, it cannot happen. And I just did it anyway and just kept going. And then a few people came around and were like, oh, wow, okay, now I get it. That's whatever. That's great. So there might be people that are coming at you like that. Realize that they're coming at you for two reasons. One, they're afraid and it messes with them. And then two, they love you and they don't want you to get hurt. So if you can look at those two things, if there are people in your life that are holding you back, that are preventing you from doing things, if they're toxic and the relationship needs to shift, then allow that to happen. But if they're just sort of noise, that's okay. You can just move forward. They'll come along. And then if they don't come along, you're not leaving them behind. They're choosing not to come. And that's a big difference. You're not leaving anyone behind by taking the steps forward into your goal. They're choosing not to be on the path with you. And they can have a different path and you can still connect on that path. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be involved in your every little thing, right? You can kind of pick and choose. And then looking back on situations where there were obstacles or where it didn't quite work, how were you showing up for that? What was your contribution to it? Can you be honest about it? Can you be honest and say to yourself, well, this is how I was showing up. This is how I kind of contributed to the situation not going the way that I wanted it to go. It's all fine. And then give yourself lots of love. The third thing is to make sure that this isn't an excuse to beat yourself up. It's not an excuse to be about any of it. It's all just information so that then you can move forward to the next thing, so that you can decide what changes do you want to make and how will the coming year be different. And then the final question I want to ask you today, which is one of my favorites. What would you do if you knew that you could not fail? What would you do? If you knew no matter what step you take, it's going to go the way you want, would you do anything differently if that were like just 100%? I have a crystal ball and I was like, it worked. I'm here to tell you, yes, it was that. And if you knew that in your core that you could not fail, what would you do? When you look at 2023, are there things you would have done differently? And again, not an opportunity to beat yourself up, but an opportunity to look at if another situation comes up, you can double down on the things that you did do that you wouldn't do differently. And you can shift and change the things that you might have done differently. I hope that makes sense. And as you go through and as you figure this out, I don't even have a plan. You don't have to have a plan. It's kind of what serves you, right? Everybody's a little bit different. But being aware that you don't have a plan, then when things aren't going the way that you want them to go, and I'm sorry, I can't see the names. It says Facebook user. You have to click on the little StreamYard.com and then I can see your name. So I'm not sure who said that. So if you don't have a plan, is it working? That's great. If that works for you, awesome. If having a plan and mapping up your list and you do get things done, awesome. If you feel frustrated though, that you're not doing the things, it's maybe one thing to look at one side or the other. Are you spending all your days planning? Are you spending all your days not having a plan? What's going on there? And that's why I'm here as your life coach to kind of get you focused, because when you start having a plan, you can write screenplays. When you start having a plan or start being aware of how you act in your life, you can be really, really creative, like all the things. Scruffles is here today. She's with us too. She's making plans. She plans to nap. And then when she gets up, she's got to take a nap because she'll be tired from her nap. That's her plan. No biggies. So there you have it. That's what we have for today. We're going to build on this. And then next week, we're putting together a vision board that goes with it. And then you'll have a whole handout and the whole kit and caboodle, and you can plan your 2024. So that's what we're doing this month. We're really trying to get you ready to have a spectacular 2024. I'm so honored that you're part of my 2024 or 2023 or however we look at it. I absolutely, thanks, Gary. Absolutely love, that's not true. It's really funny. That's really funny. It's so funny now that I know who it is. It does make a difference. Well, for someone who doesn't have a plan, I have to say, Gary's in our programs. For someone who doesn't have a plan, he gets stuff done. So it's working for you, so it doesn't matter. So that's the thing, though, right? Such a great example. I'm so glad you told me who it was, because it's such a good example of when you might not need a plan, or you might need a plan. But if it's working for you and things are happening, then you can, like, keep going with it. But we're going to continue. Well, and Gary's in our program, so we're adding things to his. I'm adding things to his plan. I'm like, oh, by the way, you're going to finish your coverages. Oh, by the way, we're going to do this thing together. Yeah. So it is great. And this is what I love about this community that we have built, is that we can hold each other accountable. We can make plans together, and it makes it a lot more fun. So I hope this is helpful for you. It's just a quick touch in. Try to do this every week. Touch in with something that I think is helpful for you, so that you can build a career that you love, turning your passion for movies, your passion for this industry, into a life that you love. That's what we're all about here. Have a beautiful, lovely day, and I will talk to you very, very soon.